Cool.
Everyone wants to do it. But no, you're good students anyways. All right, what we will do is, let me turn this off for a minute. Or we might as well put it on. This is the second part of our class. After we go over the midterm things, then we will go over the new topic that we will cover today. And then we will go over, I think, the two students who have to give their presentation. Are you both here today?
I am.
You're supposed to be one, and you're supposed to be one? Or who's supposed to be?
Dylan.
Yeah, Dylan, probably. Dylan, right? You're Dylan. Yeah, you don't see your email. It reminds me of a cartoon long time back, and this boss comes in his office and he goes, "Don't you see your email? I fired you last week." You know, so it's always in the Moodle and notification also. So whatever, we have fixed dates, and I've assigned people for that. But that happens after the break. But first, let me just go over the first 8 questions of the midterm were basically multiple choice. And I intentionally made them such that you had to at least think more than 5 to 10 minutes before you could really. And automatically, those of us who tried to answer them just because they thought they knew it probably were not so successful. You might be still. At any rate, the maximum points that somebody got in this midterm out of 20 was not even 16, I think. So if it's some consolation, whatever you got, it is that. The essay type answers, which were 4 other questions, 9, 10, 11, 12, right? Question 9 was very short answer, actually. I was looking for a very short answer. But 10, 11, you could go as long as you wanted. And obviously time was no limit because we were here till late. Almost everyone left by the time we finished. So it was not the issue. All right, so let me go over. Hopefully you have your things already there. The first question had to do, and it was about authentication and permission. I'm happy to say that a lot of you did right though. But the answer was very simple. Authentication has to do with login. Permission has to do with rights to work with file system, to do some permissions for access to the databases, to the files. You can delete, you can modify, you can give rights to somebody who, want to change names, phone numbers. That is when we say permissions. Authentication is about logging in. So in different ways, most of you did answer differently, and I gave you good points on that, as long as it meant that. Authentication has to do, the actual answer was simple. Authentication has to do with a login, and permission has to do with rights to modify patient records. That's all there was. So, any questions on that? Most of you did okay too on that. The second question was the big data, about big data. And I'm specifically asking the benefits. I'm not asking how it works. I'm not asking what is the mechanism behind it. I'm not asking who makes the big data. I'm simply saying, what are the benefits of the big data? Now, some of you actually just picked this up, this answer, right from the slide. There is a slide that says benefits. And in those benefits, there's only one option from the options that we have here, and it was that it empowered many. So the big data's benefit is that it empowers small companies, individuals, This was not possible before. Just about a few years back, you know, mainframes and sensors and networks and satellites only were possibilities of big companies and large organizations and huge set of analysts, you know, would gather information, would analyze information, and would sort of summarize them and put this information in some statistical order. Well, guess what? Nowadays, the network machine, the routers, the switches, the gateways, they generate these reports. You simply, it's like most of the software is already built in these systems. So now it is possible that we can take benefit. That's why they're so cheap nowadays. You know, reporting is not a big deal anymore. And especially in the context of Biomedical Informatics, this has really a long-awaited opportunity, a long-awaited option that the bioinformatics field was looking for. So the right answer is empowered many. All right, let's see the other option. Social media use, some of you did that too. Social media use is a use of big data. You know, social media is nowadays a big thing. Everything that you access on social media is obviously collected someplace, you know, and so therefore your Facebook and your Twitter and your other accounts, whatever you do, wherever you go, for that matter, whichever website you access, however you do internet surfing, it's already recorded. It's already being, surveillance is happening. So if you go, a certain, let's say you go a K9 club, okay, and you see that website twice a week, for example, already the reporting structure knows that this person goes twice a week, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, always, on this particular website. So, I mean, there's really even not so much of a need of eavesdropping anymore. You know, the programs and the reporting structure and the software already figures it out for us. There are a lot of automatic systems there. So that's what I mean when we say empowered many. So social media is used, but it is not the benefit of the big data. Sensor and mobile devices, option B, is also kind of related with big data, but it only helps us collect the big data, right? We get big data from so many places. Ease of storage and sharing, yeah, obviously because of ease of storage and sharing, we have the notion and the concepts and applications of big data. That's why, because clouds and all that.
I had a question about that because, so like something like ease of storage and sharing, right? Because when you were talking about big data in class, you mentioned that before, like, like any organization would have like lots of like mainframes or computers just to store data, and it was not possible to do that. And like, so the fundamental thing that changed with big data is that now you could just store information as much as you like, and you didn't need like any space or anything like that. And so it was like the main fundamental thing about big data was that you could store information so easily. So wouldn't like the fundamental benefit then be like ease of storage and sharing?
Okay, so the question is that shouldn't ease of storage and sharing should be the best, the most fundamental, if you have only one choice to pick as a benefit of, big data? I'm saying no, because first of all, there is no ease of storage of. It is cheap, it is cost effective. You could buy more gigabytes and terabytes. In fact, just today, Amazon has announced that you can have lifetime of your photos stored for $12 a year, $1 a month. You might not do it from tomorrow, but I guess they are planning to do this. So Amazon Cloud, which was made by CIA a long time back, and probably still stored by them. But that is what is happening. They are offering pretty much for free a lifetime of storage of all your photos, videos, movies. I mean, there are some caveats. You know, you can't upload your pirated copies and stuff like that. You have to go through viruses. But you know what? So it is cheap, yes, but it is definitely not convenient. It's definitely not a benefit. How is it a benefit if Amazon stores every piece of your information? What is the name of the file? Where did you get it? What is the security? They can change the name. They make you sign. Remember when you sign, I accept. You just go one check, right? They will know everything about you. How is it a benefit? Yes, it is cheap, but it is not a benefit, especially if somebody doesn't want their information, especially in the biomed context. The hospitals and the patients, it is in that sense definitely not the best option. Definitely not. Yes?
The way I read the question was that the ease of sharing and storage
Is a benefit.
is what empowers many, because that's how they're using it.
Oh, all right, so the question is, so we ignore empowers many, and we simply go,
Empowers many
because
is
ease
the
of
result.
storage empowers many. But for that matter, social media empowers many. Sensor and mobile collection of data is empowering all kinds of things. So again, you're right. It empowers many, but from the choices, it empowers many.
No, that's
Because that has all of these features in it. So suppose I say big data is empowering many, right? Can I simply say I'm being, can I simply say empowers many is only because of the storage? No?
And sharing though, right?
And sharing it
Like
is
in
the
social
key.
media.
It is again not only because of sharing. In fact, in the context of bioinformatics, you might not like to share everything with everyone. You cannot have a universal sharing of everything. What you need is a sharing in a controlled, secured, private fashion, right? Not an express, uniform, universal, open sharing. So in that sense, while it is true, it is part of empowering, but empowering many is really the real answer. You know, because it was, number one, obviously, that was this kind of thing more or less we discussed when we were talking about slides, you know. This is part of the slide, right? This is one of the bullet in that, you know, PowerPoint slide that we discussed in the class also. But besides that, logic tells us the big data empowers many is the right answer or the best of the choices from all the available choices. Because big data has a benefit. Big data couldn't be here today if we didn't have this huge iClouds and Amazon clouds and cloud engineering and cloud storages. Nowadays, you can actually buy your own cloud also. You know, you just go Best Buy or Amazon or wherever, you can buy your own cloud. So that's my my story, and I stand by it. Just kidding. That's where, you know, the concept is. In other words, empowering many is the one powerful benefit if you were ever to find what is that one single benefit, because now everyone can use it. Everyone can use this data, store this big data, can access the big data. So,
What was the question about?
I'm working on number 2, question number 2.
Yeah, what was that question?
The question was, big data is known for its benefits,
It was known for empowering many.
empowering many. And somebody selected, you select that?
No, I thought that was wrong.
Well, that was the right answer.
I feel like it was.
Can you just look? I can't find that anywhere in my notes or on
Oh.
the PowerPoints.
Ah.
So do
All
you
right,
know
we'll
which
go
lecture
over.
it was?
That's pretty
we'll go over where it was empowering many.
Professor, if you know off the top of your head, how many people actually got that question correct?
Couple of them.
Couple of
Not
people?
too many.
Okay.
Yes, because the question is obviously giving you choices that were very enticing choices to select something else. But here's what we're trying to, sort of explain and give, reasoning why the big data's benefit. The focus is on benefit. It's not about the technology. It's not about what makes it happen, why it is easy. What benefit are we getting? So the focus is benefit of big data is that not long ago, big companies only could use big data. Expensive, hard to collect, and their data sources were only limited, either through manual data entry or through some automatic features that required so many automation, which were too expensive technologies to begin with.
See, that's the thing I don't understand. So you're saying there were like big companies using it, and then like big data made it possible so that like a smaller companies can use it.
Yes.
So in a way, you're implying that the whole plot to this is that the data could be shared to smaller companies so that they could use it.
Yes, that is
And
also
so
true.
how is that not the fundamental benefit if you're putting it that way? By saying that, okay, this information, because of big data, could be used by smaller companies. So it implies that it was shared to the smaller companies, and because of big data, it could be shared with the smaller companies.
Now,
right?
there is a slight difference here. Sharing of information may not be big data. You can just share a photograph. That's it.
But it's one of the benefits, isn't it?
Of not big data now, it is a benefit of sharing.
Can I just
The
ask?
benefit of big data, is that you are empowering ordinary people to tap into the humongous volumes of data. For example, an example could be Google. Google is not sharing. We don't even share. We just go search in these big, huge databases. For example, Wikipedia, right? So we are not sharing, but yes, it is a result of a lot of sharing, absolutely. But the benefit is to ordinary people.
So does that mean like access and sharing are different things?
Absolutely.
Well, because we have access to it, so it means in a way they're
You're not sharing. Have you written any article on Wikipedia? No, you're not sharing, but you're benefiting.
If we're not sharing it, then why would we post it to Wikipedia?
No. Again, focus on what we are trying to do. We are asking what is the benefit. We are not saying, oh, let's go share. We are not searching the benefits of sharing. We are searching the benefits of big data. The big data's benefits.
Oh, okay, so basically, ease of sharing and ease of storage and sharing is not
Is a
really-
good thing
Well,
to
yeah, but
happen.
it's not really something that big data needs.
No, big data needs.
Oh,
Because of that, we got the big data, absolutely. So you can say it is one source from where the big data has become so popular. But when you say, what is the benefit? Why do I need big data? But how do you explain to people, why do I need big data? You say, because the data that otherwise you could have never accessed, you could now access. You want to know how many, what is the price of your Toyota Camry, right? And you could find the price in Sri Lanka, and you can find price in California, and you can find in Chicago, and you can compare all prices. You want to know where is my hotel that will give me the best option at the cheapest possible price. Well, guess what? Big companies, big data. So sharing is a benefit, but not that the real benefit of big data is that ordinary people who otherwise would have to call their travel agent to get the commission and all that. The big data is giving us instantaneous price quotes on stocks, right? Not possible only a few years ago. But the stocks were always there. Sharing was always being done there. The benefit of big data is that the benefits that were given to only big companies before, now everyone can have if they want, obviously. So that's where we are focusing.
Would you say it is now easier to share with many people?
No, I'm not saying share. I'm saying what is the benefit. In fact, it is
So
being...
you're saying that you can now share with many people.
No, I didn't say that. I said, no. I said the benefit of big data is that everyone can now enjoy this benefit.
It's now easier for all these people to enjoy this benefit.
It may be easier or not,
Before,
but
now that you can have it online, it's easier.
but many people were not able to access.
So they
Now
can.
they are. So that's the benefit.
You can make some calls.
Sorry?
Call the travel agent.
Sorry?
But it's still possible now. I mean, it was still possible before big data.
Yes, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It was before, but more so now. Just think, 10 years before, was it possible that you can go on a computer and find the best prices of hotels and vacations and cruises and airlines?
Yeah.
No, not as many as you have. Did you have so many companies before? Just imagine, was it possible 10 years before you go to a WebMD, for example? WebMD is only 80 years old, where it gives you all information about every drug that is possible, reactions and byproducts and side effects and everything. No, it's not possible. So you are benefiting. Just think yourself.
Can I just ask, how many people thought that ease of storage and sharing was the answer to that question?
I don't know, I didn't count. But regardless, it doesn't matter. It's not democracy here. The thing
I'm sitting in
is,
this class and I'm listening and I'm writing these things down very specifically, but when it comes to the
Yes.
test, if I'm not understanding it properly, that
well,
worries me.
the thing is this, again, the thing is this, that you will, that's why we are here, right? This is not by vote, answers by vote. This is simply what is the right, most appropriate answer. The answers that I gave intentionally were made to make you think, make you understand, make you sort of ponder over and sort of use your imagination. Okay, big data. What is big data, first of all? To answer that question, you had to really pause for a couple of minutes to understand what is big data here. Is it a natural automatic connection with sharing? No. Sharing is used to make big data. Well, what is the benefit of big data? Suppose you are a marketing person who's going to sell Amazon's cloud in big data, right? How do you explain to a customer? How do you make a presentation? First point you will say, the big data is empowering all of us now. Because of big data, now you can search for a ticket from Kathmandu to Kabul, which otherwise was just not possible. That's what the big data does. Because the data is out there, information is accessible, is available. Absolutely, you're right when you say, but it is done by sharing. Of course it is done by sharing. But what is the benefit of data? The benefit is that now cheaply, least costly method, we can access information about anything for anybody from anywhere.
But what if you think about it in reverse?
In reverse? I don't want to think in reverse. Right now I'm simply giving you the right answer. That's what it is. Of course.
Looking at the perspective of companies, it's now easier for them to share the information with more people.
Yeah, well then we don't call it a big data then. If it is not accessible.
If it's not sharing data, then what else are the benefits of big data?
The benefit, again, let me go back, is not the sharing part. The benefit is, the benefit is rather use. You can think of benefit as a use of that data, rather than sharing of that data. You don't have to share to use some data. You can use somebody else's data. You see what I'm saying?
Getting that data, it's not being shared.
Somebody is sharing, yes, but the point is, it is public domain. It is available to us. This was not possible before. That's what we are saying. You can always say, yeah, we do share. Sure. But what for? Why are we doing it? Because it benefits. Because we can now use it cheaply without paying any money. It's good that we went through this discussion, so at least we now know what is this big data and what for we are working, right?
I'm still not sure what any of these other answers. Not as good.
Well, then I will say that you go and read something about big data and its benefits.
Well, in my last class, I did learn about big data too.
Yeah.
It was one of the other math classes.
Yeah.
To me, it seems there are many benefits.
Yeah.
But specifically, the sharing of data, and that might reach a lot of people, but
Do you really share, or do you have to usually buy big data?
Yeah.
I just
You can
feel
pay
like,
a little.
especially in the terms of biomedical, that's, you know, the advancement is doctors, hospitals, researchers being able to share this information that's being collected.
Yeah, again, sharing, there are specific meanings to these terminology when we talk. When you say share, you're automatically talking about two additional things. One is privacy, and the other is security. You cannot share every data. But when we say big data and its use, you can say, yeah, people can use it to more readily available components of informations that are out there, that is available. And when you say share, you're really talking about contributing. So to use big data, you may not have to contribute as a user, as an ordinary user. You simply use it. Yes, the hospitals share, the doctors share, providers, payers, and they will share, absolutely. But maybe as a patient who's just looking for the right medication and the best doctor, next best doctor, in Europe, for example, of a subject disease, you know, that's a benefit that I get. So the focus is on benefit, basically. What is the benefit? Not how we get it. That is through sensor. That would be, some people also selected that, which is true, through sensors and other ways we collect. But that's mechanism of big data. Not through sharing. That is also might be a good answer in absence of empowering many, because sharing of big data is a means by which we use big data. But it is not really a benefit. A benefit is that everyone can use it. Anyone who wants to use it.
they sound exactly the same.
Sorry?
Sharing with many sounds exactly like empowering many.
Well, again, here we are in this session. That's my way of explaining. This is how I explained earlier. And so, you know, there may be a point of opinion if you have, but that's what I'm looking for.
See, I ruled out empowering many because it's so broad.
It's so broad, yes.
If it said no, but if it said something along the lines of, like what you said, allowing an ordinary citizen to have a wealth of knowledge,
Yes.
or something along those lines, I would have directly selected it because it said select the best choice.
Yes.
And because every answer, you know, it was more specific than empowering many. You know, empowering many, that could mean anything. It could literally mean anything. You could be empowered by anything. You know, so
But we're
it's
talking in the context of big data, obviously. It could be many things.
yes, in the
talking
but the thing is,
benefit. And
it's too broad to be considered the best answer, in my opinion.
later on, after break, I'm going to bring up that slide. Okay, so we'll go over this again. So let's continue now further on this.
We're not.
So, at least for now, it is sufficient to understand that the big data empowers many because we can use. All right. Then later on, after break, I'm going to bring up the slide. Then we'll go over on those
In
things.
what way does big data
Let's move on
benefit
now.
people?
We got to move on.
Wait, I got a quick question, please. So everything from today on is gonna be on the final, or the final is gonna be the whole thing from the beginning?
No, not the whole thing. Of course, the new subject will be covered more. Maybe one or two questions from before also. All right. She had very practical question.
I'm
Yeah.
not the question.
Sorry?
I'm saying that big data benefits many.
All right, let's hold on to this
Because it
question.
empowers many people. But why is it helpful that it empowers young people? Because it shares data.
Look, let's hold on to this. I'll bring up the slide. We'll talk about it. Okay, after.
You have to talk about that
Empowers
later.
women, it doesn't apply.
Okay, all right, number 3. Number 3 question is, cloud computing has been a great motivator of complex applications, specifically as in, all right, so complex application are really started happening after cloud computing basically was, in vogue. One of them is healthcare industry. I think this was multiple choices. A lot of you did right, but I'm only looking for one good answer. And if you selected that, it would have come up. Healthcare industry, well, healthcare industry is motivated by many other applications, not necessarily cloud computing. Healthcare industry was, huh?
Doesn't make it wrong.
Doesn't make it wrong, but you have to select select one best choice.
This is what
That's
you
the
said, best choice.
best choice. It is a best choice. BMI applications. Well, again, BMI applications also are part of, they were there before even cloud computing. In fact, the first genome project, when this 12 years ago started, there was no cloud computing then, right? It started on its own first, and it took them, 10 years or so to fix it? Now you can do 100 genome-related projects within 1 year. We see an ad from Microsoft Cloud nowadays, right? That they can do all of that within one day or something. So they were there. SaaS, software as a service. If you remember, if those of you who were in this class, we went through SaaS, PaaS, and network as a service, right? 3 things: software as a service, platform as a service, and network as a service. Those were the 3 things that are specifically motivated or started from cloud computing. That's the answer I was looking for, and I must say I did see some good answers on that also.
When you add all of the above as a choice, all of those answers
But
are-
Java and PHP is not cloud computing. Java and PHP are just programming languages. So it'll be a stretch if you also include that in that whole bunch.
So the other three.
So the only choice you're left now is C. The only choice you're left is C. Because Java and PHP are programming languages. They were there even before.
But
Well, what comes out the first two?
Okay, first, let me, one at a time.
for someone who is not a computer
Yes.
major, I don't necessarily understand
Yes,
that. And
yes.
to me,
Yes.
answers A, B, and C
Made sense.
all make sense. So
I
I would think, you know
agree.
what, I don't really know what D is specifically, but if you have more than one correct answer, then all of the above would tend to be B.
Well, no,
Because-
not more than one. They have to be all. It's as clear as possible.
I know, but if I
man.
don't really understand
Right.
exactly what that one is, because I'm not a computer major.
No, but we went through this. Nothing is
We
out
didn't
of from your
discuss
other.
Java and PHP.
These are programming languages. Oh, way before we talked about. We didn't talk about language itself, but Java is a programming language. It's pretty straightforward. We talked about it, that Java PHP is done. So, obviously, the answer we went through, though, clearly was SAS, NAS, and PAS. These are three things. I could have put all these three. They would be part of the cloud computing. Number 4. Which of the following is not considered to be part of basic ideas and concepts in PMI, right? Now this is again out from this slide. So one of them is, everything else is part of the basic ideas except one. And BMI, BPR is obviously, we talked about it, the business process re-engineering. Some of you actually have written the details also in one of the answers. Systems design and engineering, yes, that was part of that. Data collection storage obviously is part of that. What is not, the basic ideas, is just one little thing, KPI.
KPI is listed on that slide under BMI and BPR.
Yes, but not as, no, not the KPI is part of the BPR. KPI is part of BPR, but KPI and diagnostics, hold on. KPI and diagnostic systems is not the same, yes. Oh, first him, yeah. Go ahead.
You're saying it's KPI is part of BPR, but BPR is one of the answers?
No. What is not part of the BPI. Basic, in the part of the basic ideas, and KPI is not. KPI is part of the BPR maybe, but not. And then you.
When I was doing this question, I was choosing between B and E, and here's what my confusion was.
Sure.
Because KPI was not on the slide. So when we studied like BPR, when we
By the way, some people have answered right this
no,
question.
sure,
Okay, go
I'm
ahead.
sure. I'm just explaining what my confusion
Yes.
was. Because when we studied about business like process reprocessing, right, and we talked about how KPI was a part of it. That's the first thing you do when you're going through the whole process, right? KPI is the first part of it. So KPI are part of BPR,
Yes.
and BPR is the basic principle.
Yes.
So if BPI is part of the basic BPR is part of the basic principle, then KPIs should also
Yeah,
be part of
but
the
you're
basic principle.
selecting only one choice.
Yeah, so none
So
of
what
them
is the
are-
best choice? Again,
So
you
you're
have to
saying
discard.
that-
All of them are applicable, even if they are. This is where you will have to pay attention to which one supersedes, because there's only one you want to select.
No,
Why are
okay,
there 5
but
options?
even when you look for the best answer, right? KPI should be part of basic principles.
Oh,
because
my
it-
fault, my fault, my fault. KPI and diagnosis systems are not part of the BMI. What did I say? They're part?
No, you said.
Okay,
not.
okay, so that's
Yeah,
fine,
no,
yes.
but that's what I'm saying. Diagnostic system was on.
Yeah,
the
it is
slide.
not part. Definitely not part. We'll bring up the slide.
No, sure. Can I just yeah? Diagnostic system was on the slide, right? So the confusion is just over KPI, right?
Yes.
The confusion is just over KPI.
On the KPI.
Yeah, diagnostic system was on the slide.
Right.
Now, if BPR is part of basic principles and
Right.
KPI is part of BPR, how is
Right.
KPI not a basic principle? That's the part I do not understand.
Well,
BP
what else can I say?
Well, this is what I wrote in my notes from that day. It says, BMI and BPR, in parentheses, I have business process reengineering, technique data,
Right.
which improve current ideas to the next level. Then I have decision making, BMI decisions to expert systems, database of if this, then do this conditions and decisions, to AI software and diagnostic systems. And then I have as an indent bullet, key performance indicator, performance measurements, money, service, HR, marketing. So both of those terms were referenced in basic ideas and concepts.
Well, again, so let's hold on to this question also. We'll bring up the slide, we'll go over after the break, a little bit more in detail, so we'll talk about it. Yes.
Can we go to the next question? Question number 6, please.
Question number 5, we're coming to this, number 5, and then we go to 6.
Sure.
Question 5 is technology innovations are used to ensure security in biomed informatics. Once again, biomed informatics is secured by obviously a lot of protocols. Again, notice we are selecting only one good choice, or the best choice rather.
For this one, you actually said select best choice.
Yeah, but I know, select one, that's what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, so that's why some of the other questions are confusing, because this one you specifically said do that. Those other ones, it leads you to believe there may be a difference.
No, each one, there's only one question which asks you multiple answers. You could have selected. The last one also wanted only one answer. Select one, And number 3 also wants only select one.
But they don't say that. I mean, obviously you're choosing, I don't know, it just.
Well, if you see radio buttons, that means there is only one choice, obviously. If you see check boxes, then it, basically means you could choose many. All right, number 5. Let's go with number 5. So, protocols is not really, it may be a good answer, but it is not the best answer. Virtual private networks is really where the security is. And I am happy to tell a lot of people did it right, VPNs. That's where you really get secure because you get private connection and it's all encrypted. No question about it. Yes?
What makes any of the other answers, B, C, and D, not form a protocol in regards to privacy and security?
VPN is not a protocol. VPN is your own little network of.
But it's a secure network. Put it this way, it's a secure network, basically. So we're talking security. We are asking security. I'm sorry?
You could say that as a form of, technique to.
Look, we can say whatever we can say, What is the right answer has also a meaning to it.
It sounds like all of them are.
Well, I wouldn't say there's not all of them because you have to choose one. There's only one choice to select, right? So which choice will you select? All right, so number 6 is MIS, which was the just giveaway basically an answer. It was a very kiddish question. I then felt a little sorry, why did I put it there this way? It's basically management information system, not informatics. Sorry?
That still makes, it's the same thing.
Same thing, you can always say day and night is same thing. But there's something that, that we went through. Sorry? Information. Management information system. So the answer would be false.
So what's the difference between information and informatics?
Sorry?
2 letters?
Information and informatics. What's the difference?
Yeah, that's the difference.
Okay,
Informatics.
what's the difference?
Definition-wise.
Well, informatics is all about everything, technologies that we are dealing with, right? Collection, storage, analysis, the statistics of information. MIS, information system, is a database, essentially. So in that sense, it is a big difference.
So basically, that was a good question.
Sorry?
Can we not do multiple choice anymore?
Well, that's the one way quickly that I can find out whatever we went through. If we had questions, that's why I always want you to take active part and understand when we are dealing with it, when we are talking at that time, that, what do you mean by this and what does that mean? Does this mean this? Is this a good example? I'm sure.
We need to do that every time.
Yes. Yeah, every time I talk, what you're talking right now, I would love you to do this when I'm doing a presentation, when we're talking on a particular subject. For example, today we will talk on this thing. You should really get involved in the discussions like such. I'm happy that we are doing this. Absolutely. This will go a long way. This, what you're asking me right now, this is making me happy because I'm here able to, clarify the ideas, That's really what we want all the time. Yes. Number 7 is a typical database is composed of. Basically, let's go one by one because this is definitely a whole lot of confusing set of answers. Records, also known as rows. So far, so good. Or fields. So, just listen what I'm saying and then we can comment.
You don't need to read the questions out for us.
Sorry?
I'm arguing that records, fields, and relationships are in 3 different answers.
No. I'm going one by